Can a buyer contact the seller agent directly? Hey folks, my name is Chris at Hauseit, based here in Miami, Florida. Today we're going to answer this question for you. It's one of our lessons in the Real Estate Fundamentals course that we have, but let's talk about it. So the answer is yes, absolutely. There's no prohibitions for you as a buyer to contact the seller's agent, otherwise known as a listing agent, directly. You can do this quite easily, as you might know, on any number of sites. The only thing to watch out for are on any third-party sites like Zillow and such, which has a lot of advertising with random third-party agents. For example, Zillow has a advertising program called Premier Agent, where they will put a random paying agent on any other listing, which is obviously not their listing, so any contacts will get rerouted to them. So just be careful of that. I mean, it has become better in recent, I suppose, recent years, and trying to make it a little bit more or easier to understand for the consumer. So if you do look in certain sites, they will say seller's agent somewhere. And usually most sites will, at least somewhere in text, even if it's in fine text at the very bottom, it'll say listing courtesy of the brokerage name. So look for that, look for the listing courtesy of, or look for somewhere where it says seller's agent. And even though you may not be able to click to contact that seller's agent directly, you can still do so by, for example, Googling that agent's name, and you'll usually find that agent's website or some other place where it has their direct phone number or email address, and you can contact them directly that way. But otherwise, please do be careful, because it is quite easy to get tricked up, and you submit your info, you hit contact, and it sends you to some random agent that has no connection with the seller. So in short, yes, there's no prohibition for a buyer to contact the seller's agent directly. The reason you may be asking is because most buyers, yes, do tend to have a buyer's agent. And that is, it is quite common. Somewhere between 75% and 90% of all buyers do end up choosing to be represented. Even if they start their search online, perhaps, they ultimately do end up working with a buyer's agent. And of course, the reason is because buyers, having a buyer's agent is quote unquote free, because broker commissions are a seller closing cost. So the seller typically pays a fixed commission that they negotiate with the seller's agent, regardless of what happens if the property sells, regardless of whether the buyer has an agent or not, rather. So say it's 6%. In a traditional listing arrangement, that seller is going to pay 6% regardless of whether you choose to have a buyer's agent or not. If you have a buyer's agent as expected, then the seller's broker will split that commission 50-50 usually, per local association rules, MLS association rules. And then the buyer's broker and the seller's broker will each get half. If you for some reason choose to forego your right to free buyer representation, then the seller's agent gets lucky and keeps both sides of the commission, so all 6%. So this is the reason why most buyers do end up being represented. Now keep in mind, we can actually do better than that. So Hauseit has a few services. Our service for buyers is called our Hauseit Buyer Closing Credit program, where we can give you 2/3 of that buyer broker commission, subject to us keeping a minimum of 1%. So instead of having free, we can do better than free. So we'll still give you the same traditional buyer agent service, advise you throughout the process, and generally be a guide with you throughout the process. But we'll also give you 2/3 of that commission that we take home from our split of the listing commission to help cover your closing costs or furniture, whatever it might be. And 2/3 can be quite a lot, because sometimes new construction buildings will offer more than 3% to buyers brokers. They might offer 5, 6, 7%. So if we give you 2/3 of that, it'll more than cover your closing costs in some states. So there you go. We hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please hit like or subscribe. Leave us a comment below. And my name is Chris at Hauseit, and we'll see you on the next one.